What is up, guys? Brad here bringing guys the MMBA. This is actually Season 3, Week 9. Going against Buffalo Buzzwole and Friend Tate. And probably the newest coach in the league. I actually ended up getting a spot in the league. And actually, I think he went against one other person, beat the other person to actually get into the league. So this is going to be probably one of the best matches of this season, guys. So hopefully you guys do see this match. I'm not quite sure if the other coach will be watching. I'm assuming. So I'm maybe gonna put this in the Discord chat for people to come in and watch. I really don't pay attention to the chat anyways when I'm battling. I usually have the chat on mute. But if they want to watch, Probably gonna be the best battle of hopefully of this season. I think Season 3. So if you guys ever this, feel free to drop a like down below. Subscribe, that'd be awesome. Gonna get right into this. We're actually gonna be battling here in about 15 to 20 minutes. We were originally going to battle Thursday or something like that. I actually didn't know. We really didn't have any plans, really. It was pretty much when we were both around. I was pretty much when I wasn't working, and then usually around most of the time. So yeah, this week I wouldn't say this week really isn't one of the. I guess we have a decent matchup. I know my opponent has a really good team. He actually pretty much just got the team that the guy actually dropped out with the previous coach. Pretty much, that actually just had the team. Just adopted his team. The only thing he switched out, I think, was Kamala, which Kamala sucks in my opinion. Kamala is just like a waste of a draft spot that does nothing for your draft. I had an OVA season, I think one of the OVA last season, I think it was Season 3 or Season 4. It did nothing for me. I got rid of it anyways as well. He got rid of that and he put Type Null, which he knows he's going to at least use once this season. Hasn't used it yet. I'm not quite sure if he's going to bring it this week. If he does bring it this week, we can handle it pretty well. I will go over towards the end of this video as well what I think he's going to be bringing. Go over his draft real quick. He has Top Coco, Mew, Dragonite, Infernape, Decidueye, Umbreon, Rotom, Type Null, Alamola, Sneasel, and Pinsir. And Mew, Infernape, Type Null. I'm not quite sure if that's right. Type Null. Actually, it's Sneasel. Sneasel is a Zmon. I made an it's wrong, guys. Type Null is not a Zmon. It's actually Sneasel. I actually forgot to put it on the right one. I know I had it wrong, and I forgot to change it before I saved the pick. I do apologize for that, guys. But Sneasel, like I said, Sneasel is a Zmon. Alamola is Sneasel, not Type Null. Type Null is not a Zmon. So that's just a mistake on my editing part. I do apologize for that. I thought I was going to change that, but I guess I never did change it before I did the video, and I just noticed it right now. So I do apologize for that. So let's keep that in mind as I am going through this team builder. Move this aside a little bit for you guys. And our team is on the left, you guys do know. I think it's pretty much not really, again, like I said, it's not really one of the worst matchups we had this season. I think definitely a lot of other coaches had a worse matchup against this team. I think we really don't have that bad of a matchup. I think it's just going to be a little bit tricky just because we both know each other's playstyle very well. And we kind of know how each other plays and stuff like that. So that we've battled before. We haven't battled in like some time now. It's been a while since we battled, but we have battled before on Showdown. It wasn't in league, but we really know our play styles, both of our play styles, and we kind of know how we build teams. And I have been helping them build teams. Well, we've been helping each other build teams for the last 3 weeks since we came into the league. So and also gonna be interesting as actually his first week without help from me building, so it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how he actually builds on his own. His first draft league week without any help, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he actually builds his first team without any help from anybody. So pretty much we're actually going to be battling on Showdown. He does not have the in-game, which is fine. I kind of knew that. I'm just going to get right into it. Hopefully these nicknames, I tried to bring most hilarious nicknames this week, just because hopefully my opponent gets a kick out of them. Went into the bag of nicknames. I have like a whole sheet of nicknames that I actually use, and I have them all written down on like a whole piece of paper front and back, just for nicknames sometimes. And I have a whole sheet of that laying over in my room by my TV. So, and just whenever I have an idea, I usually write it down. That's kind of what I do. If you guys did not know that. First mon we're bringing this week, Mega Venusaur. Curse Mega Venusaur. If I can get it set up to +2, I can possibly sweep him this week. There's plenty of opportunities to set up with this thing as well. I can set up on the Pinsir, Granted, he probably won't even be bringing Pinsir. The last time we talked about Pinsir that I'm aware of is that Pinsir is kind of a waste, and he actually plans on getting rid of it in the next few weeks here if it does not do anything else for him. Probably if he makes the playoffs, he's going to get rid of Pinsir anyways and just pick something up that he knows he's at least going to bring one time during playoffs if he makes it that far. That's what he at least told me, so I don't think he's going to be bringing Pinsir this week. If he does, we can deal with it pretty well. I guess it's really not that big of a deal. Sneasel, I do see him bringing Sneasel this week. Sneasel matches up very well against me. Not quite sure what variant he will run. I'm assuming more either a band or a life orb or an extra belt set. I'm assuming something of that nature. Fully offensive. Not quite sure if he's going to run a Z move. I don't think he will on Sneasel. Alvamola, he's been bringing it the last 3 weeks. There's a high possibility that he will bring it. Also, there's a slight possibility that he won't, just because he knows I have Mega Venusaur and things like Raikous and stuff like that. But at the same time, it really walls Talonflame, really walls Lycanroc, and it really walls Alone with Ninetales, stuff like that. It just completely walls things like Rook as well. So there's a high possibility of him bringing it, and there's also a possibility of him not bringing it. Type Null, 50-50. If he does bring it, he's going to have to be like a setup set to really do anything to me. Unless he runs like more of like a support set, which probably be the easiest thing to deal with. Type Null really can't do too much to me this week. I'm pretty prepared for it, and I can set up on it freely if it even does bring it. Rotomole, he could bring it just for Crocodile, which I think there's a possibility of him bringing it just for Crocodile. He probably knows I'm going to run Scarf Crocodile this week, which I am going to run. I don't know. I was debating whether or not to run Scarf Crocodile or run like a Z Sandstorm variant. I think Scarf is way more effective this week. He probably expects me to run Scarf Crocodile. Props to him if he expects that. I still have to bring it. It's just so good against him. That's probably one of the only reasons he could bring Rotomole. Apart from that, there's a possibility he won't bring it. It's not really too big of an issue if he does bring it, just because he gets walled by things like Venusaur and gets blown back by Ninetales, etc. Umbreon, there's a possibility of him bringing Umbreon. I really don't see it coming this week unless it's like a Toxic Stall set or something of that nature. Decidueye, there is a possibility of him bringing like a support set Decidueye, like a defogging set, which is probably the only thing he would run. Apart from that, I really don't see him running anything too out of the ordinary with Decidueye. He could run like a Baton Pass, Nasty Plot set like we ran a few weeks ago when I helped him team build. Could run that again. We're pretty prepared for that though. I'm prepared for him if he wants to set up with at least one thing this week. Infernape, I expect him to bring Infernape. Infernape destroys me, and it's a very good check to make a Venusaur. So I'm very prepared for Infernape this week. I do expect him to bring that. Possible Fire Z variant as well. And possibly mixed. I expect him to bring either mixed or like fully special. I think that's what he should bring this week. Or possibly banded set or mixed band, something of that nature, or life orb, extra belt. A lot of different possibilities. Also could be his stealth rocker. Dragonite. He could possibly bring Dragonite if he does. I do see it being more of either physically offensive or especially offensive, not really a support set, probably like a Dragon Dance set or something like that is what I see him bring. Not really like a support set with like Thunder Wave and Roost or anything like that. So if he does bring it, it's going to be for offensive, which we're prepared for. And if he does set up Dragon Dance, we're prepared for that as well. I think another thing that we really have to discuss here is actually that we have more league experience than my opponent as well. That's probably going to be one of the deciding factors of this match as well. I have a lot more league experience than my opponent does. It's actually his first league in the last 3 weeks, and it's his first time. And this week is actually his first time preparing by himself, so I'm not quite sure how he preps by himself as well, without any help from me or other people. So we do have that at least going for us. We have a lot more league experience from the OBA season 1 to 4, and we've been here for 1 season now, so definitely got the experience factor, which we can use towards this match, and probably something I am going to use. He does have the Mew, which I do see him bringing. More of a support Mew, either a support or a defensive Mew. Possibly a Stealth Rocker or Defogger, something of that nature. A lot of different options there, so we're just going to really have to scout for what kind of Mew he is. Could be a coverage Mew as well. Tapu absolutely destroys me and probably the biggest threat this week. I wouldn't put him past him to run Choice Band at Tapu. It is very effective against me actually. I do expect him to either run probably U-Turn. He's going to run U-Turn. He's going to run Brave Bird for Mega Venusaur. He's going to run Thunderbolt, and probably Dazzling Gleam would be his set. I don't expect him to bring Choice Specs necessarily. He could bring Choice Band and run like a physical Tapu Koko, which he probably could do. Banded, Life Orb, something of the nature, Magnet maybe, either Magnets or something kind of wacky. If he wants to go be that guy and run Banded Coco, then props to him. That's a great set. Now I'm gonna get into my team here after discussing what everything he wants to. I think he's gonna bring. Venusaur, we're bringing Venusaur this week. Like I said, if we can get up to +2, Infernape cannot two-shot us. We can dwindle Infernape down with Toxic. Originally I had Sludge Bomb on the set. I switched it out for Toxic just because I can dwindle things down with Toxic, like Alomomola. I can Toxic a lot of things on the switch. Mew has Synchronized, cannot synchronize Toxic to me. And Umbreon has Synchronized, cannot synchronize Toxic back to me unless he has Heal Bell. He's the only way he's going to be getting rid of it. And we can Toxic Stall that thing out, and if he's like a standard Toxic Stall set, he cannot touch us, and we can freely set up against him. If we get up to +2, Infernape, Fire MZ only does around 40 to 55%, and we can pretty much just stall that off, or we can just pretty much just synthesis that off. So pretty much have to get a +2. +2 with Tapu Koko ensures that Brave Bird is only a possible 3 KO depending on his set, so that's very, very handy to know. The rest I would need out of the way. Depending if he brings Dragonite, I need that out of the way for this thing. Unless it's like a physical Dragonite, and I can set up on it, and he brings it in like 2 turns after, and I happen to get set up first, then we can possibly deal with it and stall it out with Toxic. And Synthesis, we can stall it out then. I need Mew gone, possibly Infernape gone, depending on his set. I need Sneasel gone. Sneasel is a huge threat to this thing, depending if he's running like Icy MZ as well, or if he's like Banded Sneasel. I cannot deal with Banded Sneasel at +2, which is unfortunate. So I need those kind of mons gone. Otherwise, it kind of depends what set his Elmold is. If it's like Assault Vest, we can set up on that thing forever. He also has Steelix here. I actually forgot to add Steelix. I knew I was forgetting Mon. This actually is. There's actually a typo. He actually has Steelix as well, which we can actually set up on. Steelix cannot touch me unless he runs like Fire Fang, or he's like Banded Steelix, which we actually ran one week. Like I think the first week he came into the league, we ran Banded Steelix. I don't expect him to bring like Banded Steelix though. If he does, then props to him. We have a really good check for it. But yeah, just get set up with this thing. Toxic to pretty much just get Toxic on the switch. Cannot get Synchronized Toxic on myself. Dwindle things down on like Umbreon, Mew, stall things out. I can Toxic down on top of Coco. Giga Drain, super effective on a few mons. Get some health packs. And it's just Curse. Pretty much just stall things out this week. Running defensive, special defensive. Even if I run like no special defensive investment, his special attackers really can't touch me. Rotom isn't going to be touching me. With no special defense investment, Tapu Koko, even under electric terrain, unless he's like Specs, really isn't going to be doing too much to me. To the point where I can synthesis it off and Toxic and Giga Drain him for health back. Mew, I'm not going to be eating hits from Mew either way, even if I am fully invested, so I cannot stand on Mew. That's probably the only mon that really threatens this thing, like 100%. Special Infernape. If he runs like Overheat, which is probably the best thing he can run against me, I think it's only a 2 KO, plus he gets the -2 special attack drop, and we can roost, or we can synthesis on the next turn, and he cannot kill me then. Special Decidueye, unless he's like a setup variant, he cannot touch me. So we're gonna go in next mon, Danglin Wang, the Raikou this week. Running the Assault Vest set, I think the Assault Vest is very effective against him. It comes in on things, depending if he's like more of a support Mew, I can come in on support Mew. Decidueye, if he's like mixed or special Decidueye, I can come in on that. And if he's more of like a sport default set, I can come in and eat hits up from that very well. Tapu Koko really can't touch me if I'm Assault Vest, even under electric terrain. Assault Vest eats up Thunderbolts and stuff like that, and I resist U-turn, which is great. Umbreon really can't touch me apart from Toxic, which we can switch out. We outspeed that thing and go for full switch either way, so it ain't really too big of a deal. Rotom really can't touch me unless he's like Specs, like I guess Specs Rotom. Really good check to Alomomola, which is probably a huge threat, definitely. Pinsir really can't touch me. We outspeed Pinsir, get that off. We have Him Power Ice, which depending on the set of Dragonite has a chance to OHKO. After Rocks actually has a 100% chance to OHKO if he's like fully offensive, which is great. If he's like Banded, E-Speed, that's probably like one of the only issues. We can need 2 of them though, I think. I think it's only a roll of the 2 KO. I'm not quite sure, I have to look again, but Yeah, overall very solid. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Switch Initiative, Shadow Ball for Mew to get damage off. Just Mon come in, eat hits, and get as much damage off and pretty much die. Keep it healthy with Loose Ass, uh, which I'll get into in a bit. On to the next Mon, we got Harry Dong, the Crocodile this week. Crocodile, he, again, like I said, he probably expects me to run Choice Scarf on this thing, but I kind of have to run it. I'm running the knockoff. I was originally going to run Crunch, but I kind of wanted the knockoff on there to knock things off, like Leftovers on Umbreon, if he sends that thing in. Just a lot of his bulky mons. If he has like an Assault Vest or something on Alamola, which is what he's been running lately, or Leftovers, I can knock off items. I can knock off Eviolite on type Null. Leftovers on Steelix, I can knock that off upon switching, which is great. Stuff like that. I think this thing really had 4 move slots in from this week as well. I also really wanted Pursuit on this set, but I really wanted a Stealth Rocker as well, just because I know he's going to bring Coco, I know he's going to be bringing Mew and Infernape, 3 mons that are really don't want to be taking Stealth Rock damage if they're going to be switching around. Mew probably might have Volt Switch or U-Turn as well on there, so, and Infernape's going to more than likely have U-Turn, so really don't want to be coming in on rocks, and all the damage that really matters late game when I come in and with more of my speedy mons, I can come in and set up and stall out a lot of his things. So I'm playing more of a defensive game this week as well. Really playing more defensive to check a lot of his offensive threats. So I can change depending on which week I really want. I can play offensive as well, but more of a defensive team this week, which really fits my style. I can play, again, like I said, I can play pretty much any style for League. More of like an offensive team or defensive, but I'm pretty good with defensive for this week. Knockoff Earthquake, no brainer. I'm running the superpower just because it's a 2 KO on the Umbreon, so if he's like at 50%, he does I think 48 to 58%, I think, depending if he's like fully specially defensive. If he's fully defensive, I think it does like 30-40%. But if he's that low and I can come in, go for the superpower and get rid of that thing, and then it'll be worth it. At least I get a kill there. Running the Intimidate just so I can come in on like Infernape, and Mach Punch does less to me, and I can at least get an Earthquake or something off on that. Just for mainly is like physical attack or Sneasel. It might let me live like an Ice Shard or something. Pinsir, if he brings it, Steelix, I can come in on Steelix a lot more easy. If with Intimidate than Moxie. Did not see Moxie really doing too much for me this week. Anger Point never does anything for me. It's really situational, so don't know why I brought that up. Standard EV spread. Jolly, max attack, max speed. Hoping to put in some work. I definitely think this thing can come in and definitely take out a few mons. Very good against Decidueye as well. I think the only thing that really stopped this thing is Rotom. Really can't touch Rotom very well, and I can burn me and freely Volt Switch around. Well, I can't really Volt Switch around as long as I have this around, but I can leave Stormy and Willow me is what I'm trying to say at least. And Mew can just not spam like Psychic and stuff like that. I'm assuming Mew is going to have to at least carry one like Fairy type move or a Grass type move, something to hit me super effectively on the Crocodile. It has to at least carry something like a coverage move for that, just for Crocodile. Unless he runs Scarf Mew itself, which actually would be a little bit easier to deal with, to be honest. It all depends what he really brings. He can only bring 6 mons, and I'm preparing for 12, so again, like I said, Steelix is not on the list as well. I mean, I screwed up on the picture over there. I knew I was forgetting something. I screwed up the Z-Mons and the Steelix. And we also have rocks on here. Like I said, I needed a rocker. Choice Scarf rocks if I want rocks up, depending on his team. Just go out and then force a switch and get the rocks up at least. Force him to defog, etc. We got Rosie O'Cunt, the Alolan Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales plays a big part in this match of winning as well. Mainly for the Roar Veil. Likely Aurora Veil allows me to set up pretty much once like the really huge threats again that like threaten Mega Venusaur, like I said, like Mew, possibly like physically offensive Dragonite with like flying move, Infernape. A lot of the main threats that can hit Venusaur super effective are out of the way. I come in, I set up that Aurora Veil, and then we go right out into Mega Venusaur and start setting up possibly like late game or middle game once I have a lot of threats out of the way, or at least weakened to the point where I can take them out. Running the freeze, try to hit things like the Alamola for a little bit more damage. Hits Rotom for very good damage. Moonblast for Umbreon. Overall, very solid Mon this week. Very good against Decidueye as well. I think the only thing that really stopped this thing is Rotom. Really can't touch Rotom very well as long as I have this around. outspeeds Mew, gets pretty good damage off on Mew. Just put the next spell on there just in case we get a chance to set up or something like that, or just like a last-ditch effort, stuff like that. Dragonite is very good for Dragonite. Apart from E-Speed, I think E-Speed, if he's banned, it's still 2 KO, which I was debating whether to run Ice Shard on here as well, but it wouldn't matter because Ice or E-Speed is +2 priority, so it doesn't matter. Type of Pokemon that cannot one-shot us no matter what set he is, which is great, and we can get some huge Moonblast damage off, or set the Aurora Veil, which is cool. Overall, very solid mon, mainly for the Aurora Veil. Kind of a standard set I've been running a lot of weeks, but it does its job well. I think it's going to be doing a very good job for things like Sneasel. Sneasel really can't touch this either. It comes down on Sneasel pretty much freely every time. The only thing that I really lose is the Light Clay, which I really don't want to lose, but if I have to lose it just to come in on Sneasel for once, and I have like no switch-ins, I'll probably have to take that risk. I guess I really can't touch Steelix, but we have plenty of answers for Steelix, so I'm not really too worried about it. We're going to go on to Loose Ass. The Latias, pretty much the same set as last week. Taunt Bait set, actually. Edge 2 Toxic on here again. Like I said, pretty much my strategy is to pretty much just wear down his team with Toxic, and hopefully he does not bring a Heal Builder, an Umbreon, or a Dragonite. So, yeah, hopefully he does not bring a Heal Builder, I guess. That's probably the only thing we have to pretty much... Or Aromatherapy. I think Mew might get Aromatherapy or something. Apart from that, hopefully he does not bring that, and then we can pretty much just stall him out with Toxic. That's pretty much all it is. I need a Defogger as well. He's gonna bring rocks on one of his mons, either the Steelix, the Pinsir, which I don't see him bringing at least. Steelix, the Mew, maybe the Fernet will have rocks. Something will have rocks this week. I did not want to be taking too much rocks damage with Rosio Cunt, or just having to switch around with Volt Switch, etc. So I just wanted to put Defog on there just for that. Wish Protect, I'm able to wish out into things like Harry Dong, Binlet, or Dangling Wang, just because it has no recovery, because it's Assault Vest. I can get free switches into Serotonin with the Wish, etc. Got the Toxic there. I do get pretty much just walled by things like Umbreon, if they have like, really, I guess, like Foul Play, etc. Just because I get worn down with Toxic if it's like a standard Toxic set. But it checks things like Mew as well, fully offensive, especially Mew. Really can't touch me apart from like Shadow Ball, Dazzling Gleam. If it has like U-Turn, that could be a bit of an issue, but it all depends on what he brings, what kind of setup his Mew is. Sneasel's a bit of an issue if he Pursuit Traps him, but we can take 3 Pursuit Traps if he's like just Life Orb or Exopelt. If he's banded, I think it has a chance of a 2-hit KO if I get Pursuit Trapped on the switch, so that could be a bit of an issue. Eat hits up from Rotom, Toxic Stall Rotom unless it's like a sub-variant. Get the Toxic on Alomomola. Apart from that, I really can't touch it, so I'd have to switch around with the Wish and Protect, etc. Again, really is to get Toxic off and pass Wishes. Pretty standard. In the last mon, we have P-Dog. What's going to actually bring Registeel to this match as well. Registeel matches up pretty well. It helps him against things if you run like a physical Coco, stuff like that, physical Dragonite. I just want another thing for Infernape. I was a bit scared of Infernape right now. I swear if he brings like an offensive Decidueye this week, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble just because I'm realizing with this team I'm a bit weak to Decidueye. If he runs like a special, it doesn't really get the most, I guess it really doesn't get that good of a special move pool, but it does. I think it gets Leaf Blade. So if he runs like Banded Decidueye, hopefully he doesn't, but if he runs like Banded Decidueye with like Spirit Shackle and like Leaf Blade, 2 of my walls really get destroyed by that, along with Harry Dong, and yeah, like 3 of my mons really get destroyed by that, actually, 2 of my walls. So hopefully he does not bring that, otherwise we're a bit weak to Decidueye. Hopefully if he does bring it, it's more of a support default set, like I think he will bring, if he does bring it. Resto Chesto, possibility of the Chestoberry getting knocked off as well if he brings the Sneasel, which I'm willing to take that risk. Getting the rest and the Chesto up is really good. This is going to be my status absorber for the team as well. If I have to take a Toxic, well, I guess I can try scouting for Toxic with Serotonin, but if I have to take like a Thunder Wave or a Willow, I'm going to go into this thing just because I have the rest on it. Have the Roar for things like DD, Dragonite, if he wants to set up with like Mew, depending what his Mew set is, if he gets ballsy and tries passing like nasty plots and shit like that, I can roar him out on like the Baton Pass, switch into a different mon. Any SD, things like type Null, if he wants to use SD, type Null, etc. I can roar those out. Skulls for things like Steelix, which is on the list. Like I said, screwed up, but Steelix he has on his team as well. Infernape, it's 2KO on Infernape, no matter what set he brings. Possible burn on the Dragonite switch in, etc. Overall, I think we have a decent team here. And it only really just depends on what he brings. Like I said, really it depends on what opponent brings. Just because he only brings 6 mods, and we're preparing for 12. So, I hope you guys enjoy this. That actually PU was actually how far are we in? Yeah, we're good at the end here. PU was actually opened up today as well. The PU tier, the beta, I think it was the alpha or the beta, was opened up on Showdown. So I will have a Showdown PU live up for you guys here in the next week. Along with that, I should have another PU live UU tier up going up here in the next few days. So stay tuned for that. Using things like Mega Skeptile and Sylveon. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like down below if you guys did, and subscribe. That'd be awesome. Almost to 600 subscribers, guys. Final push. We're at 580 right now as of this video. So yeah, see you guys in the match, which should be in a bit here. Peace.